Happy birthday to Arena. Happy birthday to Arena. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to Arena. Yay! Oh god, this is so cringy. Shut up. Okay, guys, let's go over presents, and then it's time to go. I know we're literally standing on a giant cake, but I got Arena this Blue Night small cake. Accuse him of copying my cake. Wait, what do you mean? Listen, he copied my present because I got him a nice green cake. You present stealer. When are you asking no presents? Ooh, present stealer. Yeah, I made the real present stealer. I presented my present first. Blue, I know it's you. It's not me. You know what? Take this. Ugh. Oh, what did you get, Arena? Pink got the same thing that we all did. No, what did you get, Arena? Look at the sky. Ooh, the sky. You can't escape me. Get off my cake. Give me a second. The sky's glorious. Oh, wait. What are you doing? I'm trying to break your cake. Why? Because I'm going to be the only cake standing. But Yellow, you're really getting on my nerves. Come here. You did it! How do you feel? Who are you? I am the cameraman! Oh. I'm Team Pink! Oh, I wonder how they came up with this idea of a game mode. Alright, boys. I got us some juicy cupcakes. These are the juiciest cupcakes you've ever seen. And I got them just for Arena's birthday. Because Arena really does deserve it. And these cupcakes smell good. We got 4 different colors. We got pink, we got blue, we got yellow, and we got green. These are some very interesting colors. I'm a man that loves colors. Yeah, you do love colors a lot. Can we eat them? No. What do you mean no? We will eat them after we discuss how beautiful they are. Okay, let me start with this. This cupcake is very juicy because it smells juicy? Yes, perfect. You know what? I like the yellow one. I like the green one. Yellow, green, yellow, green, yellow, green. Weapons! Weapons? What do you need weapons for? I personally like the blue one. The blue one smells better. It's the green one! No, I think the blue one. The green one! Come here. I'll teach you some yellow cupcake. No! The green cupcake is better! Blue and yellow? I'll get you some juicy green cupcake! Hey guys, it's me, the cameraman. And don't tell them, but I think the pink one's better. The yellow one! Oh, okay, the yellow one. Let's look at these juicy cupcakes. That right there is what I call some juicy cupcakes. What's up, you guys? It's me, Minecraft Arena, and I hope you guys enjoyed that 3-minute skit because it took me way longer than 3 minutes to make. In fact, it could have taken me an hour, 45 minutes. I'm not exactly sure. Welcome to today's video of Minecraft Arena. Now, in yesterday's update video, I told you guys that a guide for Cake Drift is coming, and today is that guide for Cake Drift. I planned on doing it earlier, but a video on my other YouTube channel, Ticobat Crump, had me caught up. And I mean caught up. Not only is the video 40 minutes long, took forever to edit, but it also took a lot of time to film. It also is giving me upload problems. And this is the 3rd time I've uploaded it without it really uploading. So, 3rd time's a charm, I hope. We'll be doing the guide on Cake Drift. And it's a really fun game mode with classes, so yeah. In yesterday's video, it's everything of a criteria that I would like from a game mode to do a guide on. Cake Drift can be found in Arena Arcade, which costs 3 emerald blocks, or if you follow our TikTok, you can enter it for free. During Arena Arcade, this is the 4th time I've killed a bee that was in that minecart. Anyway, Cake Drift would be right here, and it has been for a while. Before we press that button to send us into Cake Drift, let's look at Cake Drift's history. Drift was introduced in this update, which is the Birthday Bash update. And people might be saying, the Birthday Bash update just came out a week ago. How does it have any history? Well, Cake Drift has been planned by us for a long while. And this Cake Drift thing here that makes you go into it has actually been here even longer. Spring update, we were already making plans for the birthday update. And that was like, what, 3 updates ago? Maybe 4? 5 even? Anyway, back then we were making plans for the birthday update. And the first thing we thought of was Cake Game Mode. We didn't know what it would be, but we thought about it. We said, Cake Game Mode. What's the name? Cake Drift. So we put Cake Drift here before we even knew what the game would be. Then we found the idea. The idea of the game would be 4 teams fighting, team game, break the other cakes. The end. And then it was still here for a few updates now, but it was unplayable. But in the Birthday Bash update, we finally made it playable. And of course the command block doesn't work. Anyway, we finally made it playable. The Cake Drift map, if you didn't know. It's 4 cakes with a middle cake to help you transportate in those cakes. I looked at this map once I finished it, and after I had made the map was the last thing I had to do. So after I made the map, I was done making Cake Drift, and I said, damn, this would be a really nice Desert Battle game. And Desert Battle had just recently come out in the last update, and it has different maps. So I thought Cake Drift would be a cool addition to one of those maps. But the problem with that was Cake Drift just came out. Desert Battle just came out an update ago. So I said, I can't really do this. I should wait until the next update. But then I had nothing else to add. So I said, you know what? Just make the update bigger. As you guys seen in the little skit, that Desert Battle's map selection room got an extension. And Cake Drift is already there. It's an easy map. Recommendation for players. You can play with even less though. Command block, not done. But but it's a pretty easy map. Could be hard actually, because there's not many places to go. But it can be easy or really hard. I classified it as easy though. It's a cool map with mini cupcakes. If my voice sounds rushed or the video seems rushed, because it really was. After I made that skit, I became dead tired, because before I made that skit, which the skit took an hour, this video also took me about 2 hours, so that was 3 hours of not having a life and working on YouTube. Yes, I had school, but it was only one meeting, that was like an hour, but like still, that's 3 hours of my life. As an 11-year-old, I'm 11. If you're a YouTuber that's fully dedicated, you might spend your whole 24 hours on YouTube. But for an 11-year-old, 3 hours is a lot. And that's 3 hours without playing with your friends. And like playing with my friends is my life. So I'm gonna try and rush this video so I can get to my daily life playing with friends. And my controller just fell. Of course it did. We've gone over Cake Drift's history. Let's look at what Cake Drift is. Cake Drift is a 4-team battle where you have to defend your cake while attacking other cakes. It takes huge inspiration by by Turtle Defense Team. What's that game called? Team Takeover. And there's one more. I forgot the name of it though. Basically, there are 4 teams. Each team is a colored cake. The normal cake is just the middle that allows you. It's just a reason to help you, get across the other cakes. But, anyway. These cakes are key to the gameplay, besides the middle one. The middle one, every cake has cherries, basically. These cherries are in concrete, not wool, concrete. The concrete ones are the breakable ones. The only things you can break in this are the concrete ones. You cannot break the wool ones. The wool ones are only for design. You can only break the concrete ones. Anyway, your job Every team has cherries, and your job is to make sure your cake is the only cake with 4 cherries. You can either defend your cake or attack other cakes to make sure that they have no cherries. Your team, what's it called? You have to win. Yes, it's very hard, but it's worth it. Your team has to be the only team standing with all 4 cherries. So if you're a green team, in order to win, blue team, pink team, yellow team's cherries have to be completely gone. They have to have no cherries, 0. And you have to have all 4 of your cherries. Pretty hard game mode, but it's pretty fun in the end. Although, in yesterday's video, I told you that there are classes. Every class has a different food item, a different weapon, different armor, and different special abilities. For example, the baker's special ability is cake, so she can support her teammates into feeding them so they don't have to feed themselves. The cherry thief's special ability is potion of invisibility. My favorite special ability is the overcooker, because he is a flint and steel that allows him to create fire that helps him defend his base. Every class has no helmets, and the reason for that is because in a lot of our team game modes that aren't divided, like for example Team Takeover, Mossy Creek has teams, but the teams are designated to certain areas, and it's easy to tell who's on whose team. There are a lot of games like this, like Farm Battlefield and the building game mode across from it, and the Music Madness. Those are all game modes that have teams, but who's on your team is never confused, because following the rules, you're left in a designated area. But other team games where the 2 teams can clash and be in the same area, like Team Takeover or Turtle Defense Team, whose team you're on it gets really confusing. So our way of solving that in Cake Drift is helmets. Every team can only have 2 team members unless somehow the game doesn't lag with 16, then you can have 3 or 4 team members. But every team has 2 team members, so we've supplied you with chests with 2 helmets depending on your color. If you're pink team, you grab some pink helmets. If you're lime team, you grab some lime helmets. This is our way of making sure no one's confused about who's on whose team. You can pick the time between 5 and 10 minutes, and once that timer is up, and nobody's won yet, the team with the most cherries wins, and if it's a draw, then it's a draw, nobody wins. You cannot hide cherries in your inventory, that is illegal, and it will get you kicked out from the current game. When you're ready, you can walk in the begin game room, and start. If I didn't explain it, this is the main hub. This is where you'll go once you enter Cake Drift. 2 more parts of the video. First, I'm going to go over all the classes and their abilities and stuff, and then I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. And then, of course, the gameplay at the end. What's a guide video without gameplay? First class in which I've shown you is called the Baker. The Baker has chainmail, chest plate, and iron armor to kind of resemble what a chef would wear with their school. Well, what I think reminds me of school with the plastic apron things, and then normal boots and stuff. A netherite shovel, which is supposed to represent a frying pan. Her food item is a baked potato, and her special ability is a cake, which allows her to feed her team, which you would think is kind of bad because they have food of their own, but I see it as a good way because food stops you from running, but cake, you place it on the floor and you can eat it on the go to keep your team moving. They can also be used as a defense way. You see, cakes can be used very defensively because you can put them over your cherries and force the enemy team to eat over the cake, and you can place them here to make the jump harder. Just tested it out. The jump is possible and very easy, but I would put it around your cake just to make sure, because if there's any bad players or any mobile players that will find this jump pretty hard, you can do this and it will be hard for them to jump around. Be careful, enemies can eat your cakes. I don't know if I made it clear or not, I probably did, But yes, in order to steal the cherries, you have to break them with a pickaxe, shovel, or even if you have a sword, you have to somehow make that work. I normally give the defensive characters shovels or swords, stuff that will make it harder for them to break the cherries, because it's not their job to break the cherries. The offensive characters, I'd give them an axe or a pickaxe so they can break the cherries faster because they are offensive. Yes, the baker was made for a support, but if you use your head, you can come up with some crazy defensive strategies. And these defensive strategies work well with your high tier level armor. Next up we have the Cherry Thief. The Cherry Thief is the perfect offensive character. He has the perfect chest plate, not the greatest boots and pants, but they work. A netherite shovel, which is the best material to break those cherries. Berries as a food item. Berries aren't that good, and I did that purposely. 1, because they look like cherries, and he's the Cherry Thief. 2, because I feel like the stronger characters should get worse food items, because not only would that go well with the baker, because the baker can provide them with better food items, but the baker cannot, not the baker. It also kind of limits them to how much they can do. He also has the potion of invisibility for 3 seconds. It's a one-use thing, but you can take off your armor and swipe those cherries while invisible and get out of there. If the enemy base's defenses are bad, because if they're good, they'll see your bubbles or something. Next we have the Cookie Monster. He is a monster. He's a very good defensive character with very good armor, the perfect pants and boots, diamond chest plate, a stone sword, which isn't really that good. But the thing that makes the Cookie Monster special is that he has a bow for his special ability. The bow comes with arrows because it would be useless without him. His special ability is the bow and arrow, which he can use for long-range damage, and he's probably the only class with long-range damage. So that's really good for playing defensively. And cookies, I've honestly never used cookies in survival, so I don't know how good of a food item they are, but I don't know, we'll see. I'd rather them be good though, so it fits with the tanky character. So we have the Bread Basher. Not the best armor, not the best pickaxe, but it can get the job done. Bread for his food item, which is a really good food item. And then his special is the shield, which can basically block him from a lot of good attacks, and he's just a very good offensive character. Next up we have the Overcooker, which I said is my favorite. Full iron armor, netherite sword, which is perfect for attacking and defending. Dried kelp, which is the worst possible food item, but as I said, it limits him to doing what he can do, and it gives the baker more use. If you guys didn't realize this, all the classes that I make that have food items, Desert Battle, Cake Drift, a lot of other things, the more better characters have worse food items and not worse abilities, but the better characters that have better armor and better abilities most likely have worse food items. And the better characters, like the worst characters, like the Bread Basher, probably have better food items, because food can really limit to what you can do. And no, you cannot mix and match classes. That's for everything. You can't drop food for your teammates. You can't do anything. No mixing and matching classes. The only mix and matching I'll allow is, of course, the helmets that tell you which team you are. Anyone can wear that. As long as you're that team. You can't mix and match team colors either. And then, of course, the baker has cakes that she can place. Of course, you can use that. Anyway, Flint and Steel, which is another really good defensive ability. Keep on getting scary cave noises. Anyway, the Flint and Steel can be used to defend your cherries, so they're forced to put out the fire before they can attack. But the more reasonable way of using it, because they can just put it out the fire as so, the more reasonable way of using it is by surrounding it with the fire. Now, if you wanted to play offensively, it's better if you play offensively because the netherite sword. The only problem with that is you can't break cherries. Of course, the fire will hurt enemies, and enemies can also just put out the fire, which is why I like to play him offensively. You can rush the enemy team's base, and then just fire them up. It's a good way to attack the enemy team by surprise. Just fire them up, you know? Next class we have is the Pie Protector. Not the best armor, I mean tunic, but pretty good netherite stuff. His main weapon. Now, the difference between the Cookie Monster and the Pie Protector. So the Cookie Monster's bow and arrow is his special, which means it's basically the counterpart of the Cherry Thief's invisibility potion. But with the Pie Protector, his primary is the crossbow, which means he has no close combat weapon. He has a crossbow with bow and arrows, main food pumpkin pie. I think it's good, but I've never heard of it in survival. I've never ate it in survival. And then we have the cobweb, which, once again, pretty good defensive strat. Probably the best defensive character, because his webs are really good. They're hard to take away from the enemy team. And if you want to play campy, this is the way to go. Put down webs, and then simply... You can make a web fortress, actually. As so. All you need to do is put down webs, and then you can shoot people up with your bow and arrow. Him, the Pie Protector and the Cookie Monster probably are the best duo. Except we have Superior Stu, and he's very superior, because he might be the best character. Armor, beautiful, beautiful armor. Pretty good pickaxe for breaking cherries. His special ability is a trident, which you can use for long-range damage. But the food item, probably the worst food item. Now you might be saying the dried kelp's the worst food item, and it probably is. But here's the difference. The dried kelp, you have 64, that's a lot. So you could keep on eating it. But the Superior Stew only has 3 types of stews, limiting him to how much he can run. If you run too early, you only have 3 stews to refill that hunger. And after your stews are done, you can't refill them. I haven't tasted these stews in survival, so I don't know how good they are. Hopefully they're not bad, because you only have 3 of them, and each of them are a different stew, so each of them might give different things or whatever. And this is really bad for you, because you have to save your stamina. Don't run a lot. Save your running power. Save your hunger. Good character. Cool gimmick. Just save your hunger. Save your hunger. Save your hunger. Save your hunger. The final class we have is the Potato Pusher. Let me finish this real quick. Hold on. I admit I got a little bit lazy with it. Just a potato with diamond boots, but still, pretty bad armor. But he has a netherite sword and a totem of undying is his special, which allows him for pretty good, coming back to life type of thing. And yes, if you fall off the cliff, you can respawn. There is respawning in this game, if you guys didn't know that. If you lose any items, you don't respawn with them, like food or whatever, but you can respawn, and respawning is pretty crucial, because you can come back to life and defend your cake. So Totem of Undying is special, and then his food item is the baked potato. What else? Not the greatest character, but he's your basic run in and come back type of character. In fact, he's called the Potato Pusher, but in this circumstance, with a netherite sword, you can't push anything because you can't steal cherries. So here's what I'm going to do. Gave him an iron pickaxe so he can really be the Potato Pusher and break those cherries. Anyway, those are all of the classes. Next, we're going to get to the things that you should know and the classic 3 tips and tricks. And I'll be with you in literally right now. Well, for me it won't be right now because I have to go walk my dog. But for you guys, it is going to be right now. Anyway, see you there. What am I saying? See you there. They're going to see me in a second. Before we get into the tips and tricks, I'm going to tell you some things that you need to know about before playing Cake Drift. If you fall off the map, you don't have to respawn. There are ladders, and I set them up perfectly so you can jump back onto your cake. Do not just climb a ladder back to the enemy's team's cake. For example, if you're green team, if you're blue team and you accidentally fall off, or maybe you fall off purposely, you can't fall just to go over to pink's cake and go to them. whenever you fall, you have to return back to your original base. You also can't just use the ladder to avoid enemy players. Like, for example, if you're being chased and you decide to use the ladder to, like, parkour your way out of it, you cannot do that. The ladders are for emergencies only, for if you fall off. They break red concrete. This is, the cherries in the middle are not concrete. Those are wool, not concrete. Obviously, switching teams during the game is illegal. And, if you die, you can TP to the person that killed you and return to your base. You cannot attack them until you return to your base. Out of the way, let's get into the tips and tricks. First tip is to use classes that work together. You can only have 2 people on your team. Well, unless there's 16 players, of course. Then you can have 3 or 4. Pick classes with your team. You can use the 2 bow and arrow characters, or maybe the trident character. Or you can use one defensive character with a sword or one attacking character with a pickaxe. Don't choose 2 sword characters, because then there's no way you're getting to a cherry. Next thing you should do is make strategy. Making characters, putting classes together, and using strategies are basically the same thing. And if you have 2 characters that are similar together and work good together, you can make a strategy with your team and, you know, win. The thing you should do is, just like, I would say camp. Camping's a good strat. Have 1 person attack and 1 person camp. Hey guys, that is it for the guide of Cake Drift. The only other thing we have to do is the gameplay. I hope you guys, I'm going to run some gameplay right after this clip, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm Tico Back Crump, the leader of Minecraft Arena, and I'll see you guys later.